Hello, welcome once again to Testimony Tuesday, and thank you for being with us today. I have with me Charles Rickel, and Charles has been part of the church ever since I've been back.
2010.
Yeah, okay. And we appreciate Charles very much. He does a lot of good things around here for people. He's a part of Jim and Diane Gilly's small group, him and Carolyn. And he leads, with some assistance from Mike Arnett, he leads the Tuesday night men's Bible study.
And discussion.
And yeah, it's more of a discussion than a study.
It's a testimonial.
Testimonial, yeah. Hey, and so Charles is just going to talk about, he has a great story about, how many surgeries have you had?
46, and that's ones I can remember.
46 surgeries. Now, of course, as you were sharing with me, keep in mind some of those were laser
and surgeries to get growth off from the immune system not being what it should be. And that's planned because of a transplant of 49 years.
Okay, so you had a kidney transplant 49 years ago.
1974.
1974. Wow. And so you got a story there to tell, don't you? Huh?
Many books.
Yeah. I said, okay, so you can share, Charles, you can share something about that. He said there's not enough space on that phone to record all I could share about those many surgeries. But boy, God has been faithful. God has been good.
Blessed all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept a diary from 17 and a half, and I'm still carrying it, but I had 3 people when I was getting married come out of the blue that knew I kept the diary, that I should get rid of the 17 milk crates of writings of my life.
Wow. Dude.
It took us 2 hours to get it all into the recycling bin. Pulling them out of the journals.
So you just
I got rid of that part of my life.
Yeah. Wow. So you was 17 when you got your transplant, is that correct?
15 I got sick and lost a kidney in high school.
Okay.
And started dialysis the day after I graduated in high school.
Okay.
And 19 months later, after being called 5 times and 3 times being put on the table for the surgery, God finally said, "This is it. Go for it."
Yeah. Now, before we get into a lot of this heavy stuff about what he's doing, and he's ministering in a great way right now, and he's going to talk about that and the Bible study or the discussion on Tuesday night and some things. But we need to get the bad news out of the way. He is a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah, but I've learned a lot of humbleness.
You've learned a lot of humility. Yeah.
And the other team is the Browns.
So Detroit is your number 1 team.
Browns.
Cleveland is your number 2 team. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
marked for life.
Yeah. But you grew up in Michigan.
Right.
Yeah.
Just outside of Detroit.
Yeah. Just outside of Detroit.
But most of my life, I've done 3 tours in Ohio, be it here, Columbus, and over in Massillon.
Oh, okay.
And I've actually even lived in Troy, Ohio. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I have a good friend, Dave Nichols, and we went fishing all over Michigan, and I've been all over Ohio. And if you dropped us off in you wouldn't know which state you were in.
Yeah, okay.
Until that person walked by with the Ohio State or Michigan.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, Charles, why don't you share with us about Tuesday night's discussion and just a little bit about what goes on there and what that's about?
Well, I followed in the great shoes of Chuck Barton.
Oh boy.
And he was a teacher. He spent 2 days a week in the library, getting us material for his Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Well, I come from a little bit different background. I have a psychology, one class short of a psychology background, and how my life came about successfully through things. And I realized when I took over for Chuck, we were just getting through the COVID. Men needed an outlet to talk, and that fit right into my wheelhouse because from classes I've led before, it's always been a lot more enjoyable, fun, and everybody seems to want to have input is if they get to talk.
Yeah.
And I used to always tell Chuck that his class, when he started letting us talk a little bit, that it filled in the paintings that used to be from numbers and you would paint them in. The Bible became very colorful and more alive in all of us that shared or listened to testimonies.
Yeah.
So this group is almost, some nights I may not even get out except for somebody doing the prayer, me picking that person. And because I do send out the information we're going to go over that night, somebody's already prayed about it and has got a great, and I just let it run.
Let it go.
It is scary. It's scarier than me doing chaplain because I have people that have more education and experience in Bible than I do.
Yeah.
And then you know how people are with opinions, and if you get the emotional aspect, it's a good balancing act, but I got some seniors in there that kind of help calm it down sometimes.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Bible discussion is great, but it is a challenge for the facilitator because sometimes he can take off on you.
And it's strange. It's like I thought I would be preaching when I was called back in '90, and things didn't go so well when I went to seminary the first time. But God gave me another chance here. And on the day of I was going to go to the ordination group first time, they said, well, what are you going to do with this? I said, well, just like the last time I seen those guys, we were all sitting outside at the camp down in Springfield, outside, very warm, but it was comfortable. And they said, what are you going to do? And there's like 5 of us. I said, well, God told me I'm going to be somebody that sits down with a group of people and we're going to discipleship each other.
Yeah, that's good.
That's exactly what happened. And I forgot about that, but that is how the way I do the discussion group. And it's very pleasing, but I shake and rattle and roll before I get here.
That's funny. Hey, and so you've been ordained with the Church of God for 2 years? Or 3?
Since 2017, 18.
Oh, it's been about 4 or 5 years. Yeah, okay.
It goes fast when you hit that bump.
But I know that.
And he was there. It was
I
great.
was there. I was there. And
great support.
And I was privileged to, Noretta and I were privileged to lay our hands on you and Carolyn.
It was a blessing.
And it was, that was in Columbus, and I remember that well. Hey, so you mentioned chaplaincy. You tell us about you serve as a chaplain at the Lima Memorial Hospital. 1 day a week, 2 days a week?
Sometimes 2 when we get better weather, when I can kind of guarantee I'll be there.
Yeah.
That's been such a blessing because I have a gentleman that's a supervisor, did 2 tours of Iraq as a chaplain and chaplain assistants. And he's got stories that scare me, and that's pretty hard to do considering where I've been and places I've been myself.
Yeah.
But he's a very learned man. He's a Nazarene pastor with his wife in Lipstick now. And I get a formal education every time I go. And what I give is I make people laugh because I walk in, hello, I'm Charlie Chaplin. I've got 98.89% laughs. And if they don't laugh, I know they're really bad off and I should probably leave the room. Say a prayer when I leave.
But you was sharing with me how that kind of, I would use the term as an icebreaker. I don't know that that's a correct term, but it kind of breaks the ice and kind of takes you out of your element and them out of their element and just puts everybody on a level playing field. And it's a great segue into just talking to people.
And speaking to that, and it wasn't my idea. God told me that would be Charlie Chaplin.
Okay.
The funniest story was I had 4 brothers. 3 were sitting on the ledge at the hospital and the other one was in the bed. And I usually have my phone that's on vibrate, but I made a mistake that day and it jingled. So I said, I think I got to get this. I just had that sense. I looked at the guy in the bed. I said, it's my boss. You could have heard a pin drop. They said, your boss, the guy in the bed, because your boss uses a phone to call you, and they're looking up.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
We laughed
That's
and
right,
laughed.
yeah.
Our stomach hurt that day. We laughed so hard.
Oh, yeah. That is good. That is good. Yeah, that is good.
So it's very enjoyable. I've learned a lot by seeing these patients. Gosh, almost the second or third person was Tom Drake that I ever got to actually visit.
Hey, and for those of you who don't know, Tom was part of the church here for a long time. Him and Ella. Yeah. But, I'm sorry, go ahead, Charles.
So, now you got me.
Well, I got him off track. You was talking about Tom Drake, and he was one of the first patients.
The first patients. And then it was only like 2 weeks later. I didn't know it, and my supervisor had to run to a more critical situation, but they were taking somebody off the vent. And here I am with this family that I barely know. I've only been in the room maybe 10 minutes. Then I realized what's going on. And God, I sat there and prayed. And then when they needed the prayers, I asked and I prayed for them. And I'm going like, wow, I thought that was going to be a lot more rough. But God was with me and he was with the people there.
Amen. God is faithful. God is faithful. Charles, I appreciate, I mean, I know you, hey, and you're just so willing to serve. You and Warren you all do the
recycling once a month. And
is that, here at the church and Noah's Ark. And man, Charlie, I just appreciate so much you serving and man, you and your dear wife being part of the church family here. And
enjoy it greatly.
Yeah, and thank you so much. So, Charles, you're 50 years old.
that was the year I got cancer. Was 50. So I have had to deal with that too.
Yeah.
So.
But, Charles, you have a lot of experience, and you've shall we say, been a lot of water under the bridge.
And over
the bridge. That's funny. Yeah. Hey, so knowing Jesus a long time and been through. Give us Charlie's best wisdom right here for the next couple minutes.
When I was in high school, somebody gave me a plate with the 23rd Psalm on it, and I put it in the bathroom wall, and I started reading that. And at the 19 months, and on the 23rd day of September is when I went in the hospital for the transplant. But I've also learned that being sick when I was in 1971 was also still a lifesaver for me because a pretty brutal situation growing up in some ways. I tell the guys that I was born under the 10 Commandments. A lot of stick there, folks. So, but they kind of backed off, but it made my life better. I learned the dark side of a lot of things. And it could look darker. I probably died on the second surgery I had in that 6 weeks. But the transplant, you don't want to brag, it's all on Jesus. Wow. I thought I was going to be in the hospital way past Christmas, even though I went in September, because the average time was 6 months. I got out in 21 days, broke all records for a cadaver transplant on top of that.
Wow.
I had 127 different medications in the hospital, and I was down to 97, and we used a shoebox to keep it organized. And then I got another blessing. I gained 5 inches. I was the runt in the family. I had an 11-year-old sister, and I was 19, and she towered over me. So at least I got those 5 inches back. My 5-year reunion, nobody recognized me. I'm 5 inches taller, and I look like this. And then I'm looking up their noses, and they said, "Why did you do that?" Because I was that little short guy running around. That's how I saw you guys. Wisdom.
Wow.
I would say now that I'm a little bit older than 50.
Yeah.
Stay calm, stay cool, stay with Jesus, and see yourself through it, and it'll happen. Just believe, and the more you believe, the more the faith muscle gets used, the stronger you get. Even first time in seminary, I'd already been through enough stuff that the average age was 38, and that's what I was in seminary in Columbus, that I was bulletproof even back then. And when I needed help, I would sit in the sanctuary, and I didn't tell anybody. All the people that in my class would come and sit around me and just pray and never ask questions and stuff like that.
Amen.
So I was even a leader among the leaders back then. I took a wide path from that situation, and God kept on narrowing it back down. And
wow.
So
Good
very
stuff.
blessed life. I mean, I'll do it again, but I wouldn't wish my life on anybody.
Bless you. Bless you, Charlie. Thank you. Man, that's good. That's good. That is good. Hey, stay calm.
And come and join us Tuesday night, 6 o'clock.
Hey, there you go, men. There you go, men. Come and join us Tuesday night, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, and of course, but always you're welcome to come and join us in worship on Sunday mornings at 10:30. But it has been good. Hey, share this. Somebody needs to hear this. Be sure you share it. God bless you.
Thank you.